And Sports Buffet's back with a busy sports week. Sports Buffet, we just figured it out, number 6. So we've been doing this for 6 weeks, man. That's crazy.
That's what's up.
It is what's up. And it's starting to get good. I
didn't put that together, that number 6 equals 6 weeks, but yeah.
It feels like longer, you know? Like I feel like we've been doing this shit for like 6 years already.
We haven't missed a week, though.
We haven't missed a week. Our questions have been dwindling down and down and down, so shout out to everybody asking questions. No, but we have progressively been growing, so that's good. And I think now that more action is starting to build up, it's only going to get better. And we've fought through some dog days, when we started this out. So now it's starting to get good. I'm excited. I've got my new sports hat on. I just went straight NFL 100. Keep it, just keep it gangster and represent the NFL, since that's heavily what we're going to talk about today. Before we get into the NFL, I was just watching right before we came on air, Rafael Nadal versus like some Russian dude with an M. I don't even know his name. But the match was straight 5 hours, and that was epic. Like, I was texting you, like, I just watched the end of this match, but that was some impressive tennis. And usually, like, I don't get giddy about, like, tennis because it's tennis, but 5 hours of doing something at, like, the highest level, like, full speed, that was impressive to watch. And Nadal, like, just dug into his, like, zone and pulled it out at the end.
I didn't realize until, like, I worked, what's it? The U.S. Open still, right? Or no?
Yeah, U.S. Open. Mm-hmm.
So it's still in New York then?
Yep. Mm-hmm. It goes on for a while. It's been going on, I think it's 2 or 3 week tournament or something like that. They drag it out. So
I worked the U.S. Open, like, for a hot minute, and I didn't realize tennis matches could go this long.
Oh.
So... when I got like a 3-hour match, and then I was there from like 6 a.m.
What'd you do at the U.S. Open?
I was like, no thanks, I'm out.
What'd you do?
I was like an usher. It was mad boring, so I had to just stand there with my arms behind my back.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Like an usher in the stadium?
Yeah. Yeah, so I was just like pointing, like looking at tickets and shit. I was like, no thanks. It was Labor Day weekend. I was like, I'm going out, man. I did it for 3 days, from 6 a.m. to like midnight.
Yeah.
I would always ask my hours the first 2 days. They obviously knew I didn't know anything about tennis.
Yeah.
I'd ask my hours and be like, well, it depends. Like, what does it mean? What do you mean it depends? And then I realized that's how tennis rolls.
No, it really does. I worked the U.S. Open a couple of years, too, at one of the retail stores, and legit, it's the same thing. They're like, you could leave after an hour after the last match. So, like, the first couple weeks, they could go quick, because it's just, like, obviously there's no, commercials, and, like, they're not dragging the matches out. It's just, like, and usually the better person will just either, like, dominate or, they're not close matches. So it could be, like, 40 minutes, like, straight sets. But then you start getting into week 2, and you get these matches where they're actually competitive, and they're, like, they hold their own. Dude, it could go, like, till like 3 in the morning or like 2 in the morning, and then they want you to stay an hour after that. It's late, and I'm like, no one's staying in that match, and then their first instinct is like at 2 in the morning, I want to go buy some shit.
For real, yeah. They're like, I want to get the fuck out of here.
I want to get the fuck out of here. I don't even want to look at anything. Like, and if my child, like, I'm a bad parent because my child should be sleeping or something like that. But Nadal won. That was a good ass match. It went. I think 5 sets is the most it can go in men's, and then 4 is maybe the most it can go in women's. And Serena played yesterday. She lost, but she almost came back. She was down 5-1. You need 6 to win. She brought it back to, I think, 5-4, and then lost 6-4. But she really can't. I think she's lost her last 4 majors. But it's impressive that she still is there. I don't have any like sympathy for these people still, because she still won like $2 or $4 million. But it's impressive that she's still like competing after like giving birth and doing all that shit.
Yeah, and plus, like, that's a sport I could see you easily getting burnt out on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
those tennis parents, I feel like, are a little crazy. It could be like a year-round thing,
and
teammates, and you're in it by yourself too, which I think leads to burnout the most. Like if you're doing something by yourself like that,
hell yeah,
you don't got teammates like behind you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yo, I'm done. I want to take a break. Like,
yeah,
and she's never really done that other than, you know, her pregnancy, which obviously, but she played during that span a little bit too.
Yeah, it's insane.
She's
like
nuts.
to the girl she played against. So I think Serena won her first championship in like 1999. The girl was born in 2000 who beat her, which like I can't even imagine that shit. Like there's people who play against Tiger Woods or they're paired up against him, or like you see guys in the NBA who are like matched up against Vince Carter, and it's like he was like legit in the league for 3 or 4 years before they were even born. Is like I can't fathom that shit.
You know what? Like doing it at a high level too, because like you talk about Vince Carter, like he was a superstar. Now he's like end of the bench kind of guy. Like Serena's still one of the best. You got Nadal, who's got to be like 40, been doing it since like 16, 17.
Yeah,
still one of the best. So it's like it's weird how, like, yeah, tennis players don't really age. Like, yeah, they'll get older, but they still got. Like, to go back and forth like that for that long at 40 years old, like, that's insane.
Yeah, you don't think about, I mean, like, you could look at tennis and be like, oh, they don't really move that much, but the fact that, like, they do have to move back and forth at, like, such a quick pace and hit the ball with such force is, like, I'm 30, my back hurts, and, like, I don't want to, like...
That's so annoying.
Yeah, it definitely is mad annoying, but, like, I'm 30, I don't want to, like... I don't want to bend down and like pick my daughter up sometimes because I'm just like, oh, like my back's gonna hurt like if I pick her up. But like, imagine being like 40 or 40 plus and like having to like compete at the highest level doing some shit.
Yeah, you just run like 7 feet to the right, 9 feet to the left, back over and over again. Like it's honestly, it's like so tedious and boring. It's like, and you see the tennis matches too where the players, they hit it at the same spot over and over again, so they run to the middle, and then they got to go back, and they're going back and forth to the same spot. And I'll be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, hit it to the right side. You just hit it 8 times to the left, so I'm just, like, doing the same thing over and over again.
It's almost, like, strategical. Like, when you play ping pong, my mindset is always like, all right, I could obviously hit it back to you. So it's like, I could just keep hitting it back to you and almost let you be the one to screw it up, or I can like hit it to the left 7 times and then hit it to the right, 1 time and throw you off. But it's just like, who's going to be that one to take the chance of like hitting a drop shot and messing it up? Or like, do you want to just keep rallying it back and forth for like 40 times?
Like, this feels good. I'm in my groove right now.
That's what it looks like sometimes.
Yeah.
They're just like going back and forth, and then all of a sudden one of the guys who's usually not the one who wins, it will be like, he'll do like some drop shot and he'll hit the net, and then the whole crowd is just like, oh. And you're like, well, you could have just kept rallying and hoped that the other guy messed up.
Shout out to the crowd, though, because if you're watching that shit for 10 hours, like, what are you doing? Like, if you're a tennis fan, you're just going to, like, the main event. Right? I'm not using the right terminology at all. But
the main event?
The main event. But you're just going to see Nadal. You ain't going in there for the 3 matches prior to that. That's 14 hours.
That's too... Yeah. And, like... I don't know. Tennis fans in my eyes are just like preppy, stuck up, like just usually like wealthy, because if you're playing tennis is one of those sports where it's like a golf or I don't know like hockey, where it's expensive to play those sports. So like the people that are going to these matches are paying like $300-$400 for a ticket, and usually like have a boat or something like that. So it's like they're usually just like pricks. So like, I don't know the point I'm trying to make, but like, I don't usually get too into those sports because like, I don't know, I relate more with the basketball or, baseball or those sports that I played growing up, because I never really played any of those like, wealthy sports. But like when you're watching it, it is impressive to see like, Nadal playing for 5 hours, like that shit is hard to do.
I'm to the point now, like, I know what you're talking about with the fans, but I'm to the point where I see the fans, and I'm like, they impress me, too. I'm like, yeah, you are better than me, because I don't have the attention span for that. So, yeah, you're better than me. Like, I can't sit there and watch that for 9 hours.
No, but then again, you could sit and watch a baseball game, and they could probably look at you and be like, "This is boring," you know?
That's true. There's a good point with that, but it's like the way I see. I know they don't watch the game like this, but it's literally like this.
That's what it is. Yeah, I know.
It's like, why would you want to do that for 8 hours? So shout out to you if you can do that.
And then it's gotten worse. Now there's grunting. So grunting used to just be for the women's tennis, but now men's, like Nadal was grunting, and it's sort of, they use it as an advantage because they'll grunt, and they almost say that it throws you off of your swing because it's just like their grunt, it doesn't line up with their swing. So it's like you got to match it up to your swing. Right? Could just throw you off mentally.
I didn't know men grunt.
Yeah, men are starting to grunt now too.
That's a game changer.
It is.
I always like, not necessarily the grunt or the, I like the noise where you'll get a girl that'll go like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? Like, just a different noise than like,
yeah,
every time, like just a different noise. And it's that same consistent noise every time. Like, how'd she come up with that one?
I don't know. But I can't imagine hitting back a 123 mile per hour serve. I feel like if I did, there would have to be some noise that is associated with my swing. Like, I can't do that without like just like a like, I gotta, if I'm swinging that hard, there's like a whoo, or like there's some sound that I don't know that's in me that's gonna come out when I hit back a 123 mile per hour serve.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, back to baseball, you're swinging at 100 mile per hour baseball, and you don't really make a sound when you swing, right?
No, I mean.
But the fastest ball that you've thrown, you probably made a sound when you've thrown it, right?
Right, like say like an outfielder like crow hopping,
yes,
throwing to home plate, like yeah, they're making a sound.
There's something coming out.
The most extreme, they're just doing that extreme on every single play.
Yeah. All right, so shout out to Nadal. Shout out to the 19-year-old Canadian girl who won the U.S. Open, because I can't imagine playing against someone that like I'd looked up to my whole career. So tennis, check. We've anyone who like listens that's interested in tennis, there's your tennis fix. Now, for the good stuff, we'll get into football. First, before we get into obviously the biggest talk of the week, Antonio Brown. We'll go back to Thursday night and a game that we just stupidly, as I'm a former bettor. I don't know if you're still a bettor or not, but like Packers were just easy. That was just easy money over the Bears there. It's like you get caught up in football prior to the season and everything just looks so sexy. You're like, oh, the Bears were good last year and Trubisky's supposed to be an MVP. But then they play the game, and you're just like, Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. Trubisky's going to be Trubisky, a young quarterback that you can't really trust. And the Packers go in there and they win,
I'm so glad that I didn't put any money on this week's games in general, just because it wouldn't have went well for me, but definitely for the Bears.
Did you think the Bears? Did you say Bears?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did. I mean, it was a close game, but it was a shit game. Like, who's going to watch that? I'm not watching that. That's why I hate Thursday night games, because I feel like all of them are like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just like 10-3.
So boring.
And it's like, come on, man. Like, no one did anything, so it's not like you could really, like, praise the Packers too much.
Yeah.
They just got out of there with a win.
Yeah, that's true. Those games are super boring, like when it's like a 6-3 or just a field goal and defensive battle. But like you're always hoping that next play is going to be something exciting, and that's what keeps you going. And the commentators do their good job of hyping stuff up, or like a sack here or there. I didn't even really watch much of the game, so nothing really happened.
No, it was pretty. I mean, I made it through the first half, maybe the start of the third. It's like, dude, I'm not watching this.
Yeah.
It's like even if they start scoring now, it's like, no. You lost me.
Yeah, I didn't watch much of it, to be honest with you. I was downtown while the game was going on, and it was pretty lively. But Bears fans after that loss were pretty pissed. I was a little mad because the Bears are giving away a bobblehead every game this season. They gave away a Mike Ditka bobblehead, and one of my friends was going to the game. First 20,000 fans, and he didn't get me one. I was a little pissed about that.
First 20,000. Yeah, I mean that's gonna be tough for like a season opener.
Yeah, especially like so. First 20,000 at a baseball game, you usually got a good shot because you probably only sit 45,000 at a baseball stadium.
Yeah, think about that. Like, so many people are like taking off work just to tailgate at like 3 p.m. So
first game of the season too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bears fans weren't happy about that one. Packers want to know. I said Packers, I think. Yeah, money line. So that would have been a nice one for anyone who did that. But yeah, 10-3 is just boring football. Thursday night games are usually not good just because teams, aren't prepared. It's usually a short week, and they're just throwing off their game a little bit. But the biggest news of NFL season was the controversy that had been happening all offseason with Antonio Brown and the Radiators. So I think he calculated his whole move and, orchestrated his way out of Oakland, just because I think we're in a new era now with athletes, and I think the wave of like KD, LeBron, they sort of want to dictate what they do, and then there's this mentality that like the NFL and their teams just have such control over their players, and the players want more freedom to do what they want to do and not be at the mercy of the team. So, and Antonio Brown being very boisterous and like just being very like outlandish, the whole hot air balloon stuff. He orchestrated his way out of Oakland, and now is playing for the Patriots on a 1-year deal, which I think is the new. I don't know what his end game is. I think guys are doing this. DeMarcus Cousins tried to do this with Golden State, where it's almost like play for 1 year, showcase yourself, and then get a big deal. I just don't know what the end game is for Antonio Brown. It's like play for 1 year, get $10 million, and then hope that some team takes another shot on you for a 7-year, $100 million contract or something. Like, who's going to do that knowing what you just did in Oakland?
That's what I'm saying. He's an asshole, really. I mean, like, and I've tried to it's gone from like funny with the helmet shit to like, all right, I don't know, maybe they're doing something to him that he doesn't like, and now it's like, I got off it when you post so much on social media about your team and you don't take it up with them. Yeah, it's like, dude, you're like a little girl. You're like a 14-year-old girl on there. Like, why are you're recording your coach on a phone, which is weird anyway.
That was crazy.
Like, people are saying that's illegal. Who cares?
I don't care about the whole illegal stuff. Like,
yeah, like he's not. It's not a fucking drug deal. Like, who cares that it's illegal? But just it's weird.
The principle of doing it.
Like, all right, coach is calling. Like, let's make sure we get this.
It's like it's more. I don't know the right word. Not annoying.
Childish.
It's just not right because it's calculated. He knew that he spoke to his agent, who obviously it seemed like he facilitated the call because it starts with like, AB, coach is on the line, and then that's when the conversation starts. So it seems like he wanted to have this conversation with coach, had his agent set up the phone call, and then he knew he was going to record it. Which is just like, it's just not the right thing to do. When you're a player, yes, you can think that the team is not treating you right or all these things, but like, it's still a job. We all work jobs. Unless you're the owner of the Raiders or you run the team, then you make the rules. But we all have to follow rules, even on a bigger level, like as a country, there's rules we have to abide by when we drive a car, you can't just like go out there and think that like everything caters to you. You can obviously be independent and want to stand up for yourself, but like at some point you still got to follow the rules, and you're getting paid a lot of money to follow the rules. So he had a falling out with the GM, and it just makes you think that everything he did was calculated. Even with the helmet, if you follow his Instagram, it's like he got an endorsement deal out of that.
Yeah, and from what I've heard too, like he's I guess hired like a social media team to like accelerate his release by the Raiders. So It's for sure calculated. It's one of the strangest, like, months an athlete can have, which, like, going from, like, cryotherapy, burning your feet off in the cryotherapy chamber, to complaining about your helmet that's over 10 years old. Just wear a new helmet. It's probably safer.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's funny, and then it's like, to your point, it is a new age where athletes are doing this, and athletes are doing this, like, on social media, like putting the fine out there on social media.
Yeah.
Like, you knew, no one's that dumb. You know that's gonna, like, cause backlash. So,
Yep.
like, why would you do that? Yeah, you don't want to be there. I get that, but at the end of the day, they gave him a fat ass contract that is gone now.
Yep.
That is gone.
And that's what he wanted. That's what his goal was, to get that contract. And the Raiders went out of their way to send draft picks and give him that big contract. So it's almost just like, I don't understand what's next for him. Like, even, okay, say you go to the Patriots now, and let's say you even win the Super Bowl, you know? Does some team give you a long-term deal? Or do you just keep signing these small 1-2 year deals? And it's just like, eventually you're going to get old, or, you know, on, say, next year, I don't know, Tampa Bay or something just comes in and throws a boatload of money at you for 1 year. But then you don't really have that great of a season. Nobody takes a shot on you the year after that, and you might not make as much money as you did when the Raiders were giving you a big contract. You know, like, it's like you're gambling on yourself every year, where, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting because Carmelo Anthony had this conversation when he went on with Stephen A. and he was talking about LeBron and Wade came to him when they were trying to form the Big Three, and it was like when he could sign a contract extension with the Nuggets, and he was like, I wasn't leaving any money on the table. But that hurt him because it was a couple seasons later, Wade, LeBron, and Bosh teamed up in Miami, and Melo didn't have that option to because he had signed that long-term contract. So maybe is AB doing the right thing, you know, and he wins a ring this year, and then he signs with another team and wins a ring, and it's like, it could be a good thing for himself to not be tied down, you know?
Yeah, if that's, like, what keeps him sane, maybe, is, like, not knowing where his future is, which motivates him more. I mean, that's some fucking wild shit. You should go see a sports psychologist about that.
Seriously.
Because everyone likes stability in their jobs.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's going to get that over, like, no matter what he does this year, like you said, I don't see any team signing. And even if he crushes it with the Patriots don't throw money at guys like that.
Nope.
So it's not like you're going to get, like, a 3-year deal from them. Like, you got $10 million in guaranteed 1 year, $5 million in incentives, and you threw away $30 million. So I don't know. Like, in strange video also to release, like, you're like running around celebrating in your backyard of losing $30 million.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, Le'Veon did the same thing, and I mean, I'm happy he's a Jet, and we'll get into the Jets game a little bit later, but he lost a little bit of money sitting out last season. And these guys think they're, like, making these calculated moves and doing the right thing, but, like, it seems like DeMarcus Cousins goes to Golden State to bet on himself, gets injured, tries to take another 1-year deal with the Lakers, gets injured. You know, it's like there's guys out there that are signing these long-term deals, like a Jared Dudley or something like that, like, you know, random 3 years, $60 million, that are making way more than a player like DeMarcus Cousins or somebody like that. And yet, you know, Antonio Brown will put on his social media, I'm free, this and all that, and get all these comments from other athletes like, yo, I love it, bro, you're doing your thing. But you're not. You're losing money. You're not helping your cause.
For real. Like, I thought it was kind of horrible to see. Like, there were, like, other NFL players, like commenting on it and kind of laughing at it. It was like, oh, man, do you or whatever. And it's like, yo, he's hurting you guys, though. Realistically, because there's very little guaranteed money in the NFL, right?
But it was so weird. Just sorry to interrupt, but on the same week, Julio Jones on the Falcons signs like a 4-year, $66 million contract or something like that with like $64 million guaranteed. So it's just funny. It's just like he's always gone about his business, worked hard, doesn't say anything, isn't a social media whore, all this stuff, and got paid.
Yeah, and that was all on the signing bonus. So one day he made $64 million.
Yep.
It was pretty much, I think it was almost like, yo, we really appreciate you for being a fucking good dude.
100%.
Obviously, you're great at football, but for being good to us, like, here you go. Because that doesn't happen often.
Mm-mm.
And, like, you know, baseball, you have the guaranteed contracts and everything. But once you get past that signing bonus, they could cut you at any point. So
Yeah.
a lot of these contracts, you know, they don't really mean too much when you really look at it.
I think it's starting to change a little bit. The wave's starting to change, and maybe that's what the 1-year deal is doing for him. Maybe in 2 years, it's going to be a whole different landscape.
I don't think it's going to help future free agents in the NFL. His situation with what he's done, I think owners can hold that against guys, and like, I don't want I don't trust putting my money in unstable players.
Yeah. Like what it's interesting because, you know, the Patriots have always taken on these type of guys. They took Randy Moss, who, you know, everybody thought was the same type of player, you know, just a distraction, this and that, and he went into the Patriots system and just crushed it. You know, he was a jet killer. They went undefeated. They lost the Super Bowl. But then they signed Ocho Cinco, and like he was in line. He did everything that they asked, and you didn't really hear much from him. They weren't too successful, I don't think, with Chad. Oh no, they might have made a Super Bowl, but they might have lost 2, I think, with him.
Yeah, I don't think he made the whole season.
Yeah.
I just don't think he was that good with them. But yeah,
he wouldn't fit their system well because like
he fell in line though.
Exactly. AB, I think he does work hard. Like, I mean, watching the Hard Knocks stuff, you see all of his training routines, and like he definitely puts the work in. But I'm telling you, man, like all it takes is one thing. You know, he goes on social media in the locker room with Belichick talking or something like that. But they're not going to take any of that shit. You know, like they'll cut him or they'll bench him. And then if you get benched by the Patriots, it's a wrap. Who else is going to take a chance on you? Like, he's really gambling hard right now. And like, if it doesn't work out, if Brady doesn't like him, it could be over, dude. And it's just like, I think a lot of people will be happy just because of all the shit he's done. But then again, it's also a sad story too, because it's just like he just seems lost and like confused right now.
No, I agree. This has to work out, or else
no
other team is going to take that chance. So
I will say, if it does work out, man, like the lineup on paper, like the Patriots, I think are up 10-0 right now, and that's
17 at this point.
That's like, is it 17-0?
No, I don't know. I said it probably is
20-0, even worse. 20-0. They don't have like. And then you're putting AB into the lineup with the greatest quarterback of all time is just like stupid. And like us being Jets fans, for the NFL, it's just like it doesn't seem fair. You know, it's just like the guy is still very good, but like it's gonna be interesting to see how it works out because I mean they're up 20-0 right now. You put AB on there, it's probably 40-0. Like, how can you cover all these guys?
No, you can't.
It's just interesting. It's funny watching the whole situation play out because it's just like these guys are all normal people too. So, you know, like he gets into an altercation with the GM, and then like I sort of like hearing, you know, I don't like him recording John Gruden, but like hearing those behind the scenes conversations, you know, of Gruden like still being in his corner, but also being like, yo, get it together, man.
I know, I do like that, especially like with Gruden on Hard Knocks. The way he talks to him, it's like, he doesn't talk to them like they're multimillionaires, which is awesome. Like, he talks to them like people. Like, dude, get your shit together. Let's go. Yeah.
So AB's on the Patriots. He worked his way out of there. So I mean, shout out to him. They got to see the Jets twice, which isn't good for us. But let's get into some of the games that happened today because it was an exciting week 1. We could go through some of the games. First, we'll go through the games we had circled. I had, and I was texting you earlier today, I had Washington beating Philly. So, didn't work out too well. It was close. I think Washington was up 10-0 at one point. Philly came back and won 32-27. But that was one I really thought was going to be And I said the under, you said the over, so you got that right. Mm-hmm. But if I took just the spread in that one, I would have been all right. You said that Colt gets in and throws a TD.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Keenum actually played pretty well. 380 yards, 3 TDs.
It was actually 20-7 at the half.
Was it?
Yeah. And then the Eagles just put it on them in the third and fourth.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch those games. I mean, because it's like you think that's a big margin, and then all of a sudden it's like the other team just comes storming back and it's over.
I thought you had something at 27. I was like, ooh, okay.
I'm telling you, there's just random games. Like see, I would have probably took the money line if I was still betting, but like if I just took the safe bet and took Washington to beat Philly, like with the points, I'd win a lot of money. But I always just have to go for the jugular when I bet.
Got him.
What other ones you had? I had San Francisco over Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I did not.
Yes,
so you got me there.
San Francisco waxed them there.
They did. Jameis had like 2 pick sixes.
That's going to get... I don't even know who their backup is, but Jameis isn't going to last long, I don't think.
No. I mean, yeah, I don't even know who their backup is at all.
Neither do I. Cardinals-Lions ends in a tie. Like, ending in a tie in the NFL is the stupidest thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know. I watched the ending of that, so I watched the end of the fourth. It was exciting, the fourth. And then the overtime was just like...
Trash?
Yo, they were just like giving the ball back and forth to each other. Like no one could help themselves out at all. So
how'd the guy Kyler Murray play? 308 yards, 2 TDs.
Yeah, I think he threw a pick in the first half, and then in the second half he came back and threw pretty well. He is so fast.
So is he a scrambler? I didn't watch any. Is that his thing?
He scrambles, yeah, but he could sling it, man.
Really?
Like his motion, he's just literally like...
But he's tiny, right?
He's tiny, but he just flicks the wrist, and it's like...
It's gone.
50 yards. Yeah.
He might actually be pretty good, and especially with their coach, who's like Kingsbury's like a quarterback guru.
It was exciting for a little bit. Overtime got really sloppy, though.
It's gotta suck to be a Lions fan. Like, I'd almost say that being a Lions fan is worse than being a Bills fan.
Yeah.
Just like the Lions, I feel like if I were to check the stats, the Lions probably have the most tie games like since ties were a thing in the NFL.
I was just saying that. I just said to my roommate, I just said, Matt Stafford has to have the most ties of any quarterback in the NFL, like any active quarterback now.
I'm gonna check that, like because literally every time there's a tie, I feel like it's either like the Bengals or the Lions.
Yeah,
are like the two most like tied teams since tie is a thing. Legit, this is professional sports. Spend a little bit extra time to figure out which team can fucking win. Like, why is there a tie? Like, there's no ties anywhere else. Like, there has to be a winner. Like, what is a tie?
You know what's crazy too? I feel like the NFL is a league where you need wins and losses the most because there's the least amount of games. You know what I'm saying? Like if a baseball team ties in a 162 game season, it's like whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
I just don't get the reasoning behind a tie. Like college games go 7 overtimes deep, and like, is it the game starts at 4:00? It's not like you don't have lights for the stadium. Like when we're kids and you're playing stickball or kickball or something in the park, and like the lights go out, you're like, all right, next point wins or something like that. Like, there has to be some rule that they can implement to freaking not have a tie. Like, how is there ties? Like, the fans don't want to get home. You have enough money to pay for the lights to stay on at the stadium. If anything, you're getting more commercial time on TV. Why are there ties?
I know. I think they gotta stop. Like, all they do is the rebuttals, which is like it always lines up where one team scores. Like this happened with the Cardinals-Lions. Like the Cardinals scored, the Lions scored the same amount of points. So they both scored 3 points. Cardinals don't score, they kick the ball to the Lions. Lions don't score, they kick it to the Cardinals. It's like, why are you guys just mirroring each other? It's annoying. But
even that, like, just keep doing it until they don't mirror each other anymore. Like, some of the most exciting things is like watching Nadal play for 5 hours. You know, if this football game went until tomorrow afternoon, it'd be the greatest football game of all time.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Instead, it's just Detroit, Arizona, like 0-0-1.
I guess the only downside to that, though, would be like guys would end up killing each other.
Well, no, but obviously it would. That's when it's like, all right, after the fifth overtime, first team to get a first down or something like that wins. Like, you just do something stupid that it's like is going to happen.
Just take. You know what you should do? You should take. I mean, I guess this would be the same thing, but one less defender.
Yeah, something like that. Like, you can't run the ball or anything like that. Like, you have to go for it every fourth down or something like that. So this way,
2 minutes on the clock, you start at the 20, 25, whatever.
Exactly.
Go.
Yeah, I'm really mad that there's ties in the NFL, because it's like I saw Kyler Murray brings his team back, results in tie. It's like, what? Like, do you leave the game happy, or like, are you like, I'd be more mad?
You know what always happens? I don't know if it happened with this game, but I feel like every time an NFL team ties, there's always one player that post-game goes, I didn't even know you could tie in that.
Yeah, there's definitely a bunch of dummies on the team that don't know about ties. But
Donovan McNabb said that.
Did he?
Like, yo, you're the quarterback, man. You should know that. Like,
oh my gosh.
The DB says it. Donovan was like, I was getting ready to go out there again. I didn't know that I could tie.
That's bad. That's like some J.R. Smith, like, in the NBA Finals, not knowing the freaking score and, like, pulling the ball out. Like, the fact that some of these players aren't aware of the situation is really, really bad. Or, like, even when you see that in baseball, I mean, you've played baseball, you always have a, like, conscious idea of how many outs there are, right? Have you ever caught the ball in the outfield or something and, like, just thrown it away because you thought it was 3 outs? Like, can you get mixed up with that stuff?
I think baseball is the easiest to do that because you're constantly there. I've never gotten the ball where I've thought it was like 3 outs and it's 2, but obviously you play with guys that have done that, and it's like there's been so many games I've been a part of, like playing and coaching, like where everyone loses track of the outs. So, like if it's a long ass inning or something,
I could get it in you're probably playing in a stadium that you got to ask the umpire how many outs there are, or your teammates should tell you. But when you're playing in Yankee Stadium or something, there's 40 billion jumbotrons around you with how many outs there are, and you see like these flashing lights of like 2 out rally or whatever, and then you throw the ball in the stands while there's a guy on second base or something. It's just like, that guy should be fined $100,000, or like that should be a suspension. That shit can't happen.
Did you remember the Mets left fielder who did that? Like, we're talking like 15 years ago at this point. It was like 2000. He caught the ball. It was 1 out. He caught a fly ball, right? And he was like doing the right thing. He was running in as if the inning was over, gave it to a kid in the stands. But there was a guy on first, so he tagged up, went to second, and he went to third, and then the left fielder had to go and rip the ball from the kid's hand and throw it in.
Oh my gosh! No, I think I vaguely remember that, but
Benny Agbayani.
Oh, Benny! I remember Benny Agbayani. Yeah, classic name.
Man.
Yeah, that stuff is hilarious. Speaking of that, real quick, just a side note off of baseball. Did you see Yankees Red Sox? I think it was J.D. Martinez. Oh, it might have not been Yankees Red Sox, but
I think it was.
Was it Yankee Red Sox where he grabbed the lady's boobs in the right field?
Yeah.
So at first I was like, I give him the benefit of the doubt. He's running full speed and he's just trying to feel for the wall. But then they slow it down and it looks like he's sort of really like moved the angle of his hand to get a good grasp full there.
See, I saw the picture of it, and it was just like all in. I gotta see the video of it.
Yeah. No, at first you're like, okay, he's just making a play off the wall. And if you haven't seen this, go check out JD Martinez. It's probably Boob Grab on YouTube or something like that. Boobgate. You could find it.
Yeah, I just searched it right now on Twitter. Just JD Martinez videos.
So do they slow it down? Do they show the slow version?
It's strange. No, it's not.
Because the slowed down version, his hand is like up here, and then all of a sudden you see him look forward, and then like move it this way to the right, and it's almost just like he knew what he was doing. Like there was a bet going on in the dugout, the inning before. Like, I bet you, next single to the fence, you won't grab that lady's boobs or something like that.
That could be actually. That would be awesome.
I mean, baseball players do stuff like that. You know, like they got to keep themselves occupied.
All right, that I could go with that because other than that, it's like she was like an older woman.
I mean,
Martinez probably like could get a girl if he wants to touch some boobs.
Yeah, it's not like she was, the best looking lady, but like, you know me, I'm conspiracy Corin over here, so like I think that someone in the dugout said, "Hey, right field, I was warming up," or maybe it probably came from the bullpen because the bullpen guys usually have a lot of free time on their hands and they're scoping things out. So when he runs out to right field, it's like, "Hey, JD," they give the eyes or something like that. And it's like,
and her boobs are there.
That's what I'm saying.
Obviously, like out. So
it's like, "Hey, $500, you won't, grab those on your next, home run shot or something." So it is a fair question to ask, I say, for that one. So check it out for yourselves. Let us know in the comments what you think. Did he intentionally grab those, or did he just do it, looking for the wall? Now, back to football. Giants got smoked by the Cowboys. I was wrong on that one. I thought the Giants were going to put up a little better fight there. I think you said Cowboys there, right?
Yeah, I believe I said Cowboys. I did think it would be a closer game.
Yeah, that was there was a lot of shady calls in that game too. I think the Giants were down 28-10 maybe, and they were driving, and Eli rolled out to the right, and like his receiver got tackled, and they called no pass interference, and then he fumbled the ball, and then Dallas got it going the other way, and it's just like there's never any consequences for that. When there's like the momentum rolling and the whole home team is there, the commentators don't really talk too much about it. Like I was surprised because they actually showed the replay, and the defender legit tackled his receiver, which like and the thing was the referee right there threw a flag on it. But then, like, they never spoke about why they picked up the flag or what happened.
They just pulled it back?
They just pulled it back. Like, the guy legit was right there and put the flag out right in front of it. And you're like, okay, they're going to reverse it, and the Giants will get the ball and maybe score and be down one touchdown. But no. So they ended up getting smoked. I'll make a bold prediction on the Giants. If last week is Eli's, this is his last chance. If not, I think he gets replaced. They play the Bills, so if they don't beat the Bills, I think Eli gets benched, and it's Daniel Jones' season to lose.
I'm pretty sure he came into the game today.
Oh, did he?
I think so, a little bit, yeah.
Maybe at the end, I stopped watching.
I'm pretty sure, because I just saw one highlight of him scrambling, and he got fucking lit up.
Oh, did he? Yes, maybe it won't be pretty. Oh, yeah, he did come in 3 of 4. No, 3 of 4, 17 yards. I mean, like, not bad.
Yeah, no, not bad, not bad.
But yeah, that 1 of 4 that he missed was probably when you saw him got laced.
Well, it was a scramble. So he was like, he cut through the middle and was running, and he just got like kind of just like crushed by like 2 defenders.
See, I'm a big. I think if you do the right things will work out for you. Zeke had his problems in the past, but you hadn't heard too much from him this offseason. He had a holdout, but like you didn't hear too much off the field stuff with him, and he got paid, and he had a great game. Dak is the same way. He's negotiating his contract right now. He wants a new deal, but he just went out there and he just lit up the Giants. Now Jerry Jones watched that game, and he had a great time, and there's no controversy, this and that, and he's probably gonna get paid a boatload of money. It's just go out, do the right thing. Like, if Dak is like after the game or before the game talking shit, and he's like recording Jason Garrett and doing all this stuff, it's just like, why do you want to help a guy like that?
Exactly. And like Jerry Jones probably handles it better too than the way the Raiders did. I'm sure they made some mistakes along the way too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like completely different situation.
100%. It's almost sad too, because it's just like the Patriots just want you for your talent. They don't, like you as a person. Who would like you as a person if you're recording conversations? That's
just so funny where he was like, because I did think the fucking recorded call, like I watched it 45 times.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was great, but
it was a dope commercial if anybody didn't see it.
When he was like, I'm more than a football player, I'm a person. I'm like, yo, Bill Belichick ain't going to call you at all, man. You ain't going to have his number.
Nope.
Like, you are just a football player to them.
And that's why, like, Gruden put a lot of time into him, man, and it's almost just like you feel for Gruden because, like, he's like, just play football, like, and he was kept it real with him. He was like, I don't know what's going on in your life,
Yeah.
and it almost made it sound like it seems like there's a lot of shit going on in your life, but like I'm still here to help you. And like if a guy can't like realize that someone's actually in your corner, obviously Gruden wants him to play, and he's his best wide receiver, so he's going to talk nice to him, but like he actually cared about him. It seems, you know. How can
genuine?
That's what I'm saying. How can, as good as Belichick is as a coach and all this stuff, how can you trust that like this guy's gonna not do some shady shit to you? I don't know. I digress on the AB conversation. Seahawks won by a point over the Bengals. Pretty boring game. I didn't watch any of it, but I saw that like Russell Wilson threw a touchdown. But I did see that a couple people picked them to like make it to the Super Bowl, which is just like, let's pump the brakes on the Seahawks for a second. You got any thoughts on that game?
I didn't see any of it at all.
Yeah, there's some games that are just irrelevant. Like Chargers, Colts. Yeah, it went to overtime. Chargers won. But like, who gives a shit about that game? Indianapolis is trash, and San Diego is going to be the Chargers.
I was surprised it was that close. But
that is surprising. I guess this guy Brissett, like Brissett, is a little better than we think. Is he good?
I think he's going to be all right.
Yeah.
He was under Belichick for quite some time.
Supposedly, he didn't have an agent, and he negotiated his whole like 4-year, $50 million contract or something like that.
Really?
So he just got all that shit.
Good for him.
Chiefs blew the doors off the Jaguars. Nick Foles. That was an interesting one. He like broke his collarbone or something like that, and he's out for a while. Yeah,
most likely for the year.
Oh, is it a year thing?
I think they're going month by month with him, but
it's so interesting because like
at least 2.
I think Foles is the type of player where it's like if you put that pressure on him to be the starter, he'll crack under the pressure. No pun intended. But when he's like a backup and there's no expectations for him, that's when he's amazing.
You could slide and be the hero.
Exactly. But I'll ask you the question: does that open the door? Could the Jaguars be Kaepernick's team?
Well, dude, I think we might have mentioned the Jaguars as an option last week if like Foles goes down, because it's.
I think their owner is pretty like progressive. I think he's like the Saudi Arabian dude or something like that, or like maybe Indian or something.
It's an obscure place where there's not going to be a ton of media there.
That would be an interesting play, man. Like who? Like what is it? Probably 5 reporters in the Jacksonville Jaguars locker room.
Yeah, for real. Like if he doesn't get signed by them, I don't know if it's happening. Dude,
Jaguars could be the spot.
Could be.
They've got Doug Marrone is their coach. I think what's his name? Tom Coughlin's obviously got a big say on if it's going to happen or not. I think he's the type of dude that like if you could help them win football games, he'll take a look at you. Like I think he like you know he puts bullshit aside. And if I remember correctly about their owner, let me see who their owner is. Let's get some facts up in this bitch. Jaguars owner Shahid Khan. Yeah. Pakistani American billionaire businessman. So I mean like the dude is like, I mean he's a billionaire, he's probably pro-Trump, but like where'd he get his money? He's the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars of the National Football League, also the owner of Fulham FC of English Football League Championship, so soccer, and professional wrestling promotion All Elite Wrestling, AEW, where he's the lead investor.
Oh wow.
Khan is also the owner of the automobile parts manufacturer Flex and Gate in Urbana, Illinois. His net worth is $6.8 billion. It's pretty good. He needs to do a little better. All right, let's see. So he worked at an automotive manufacturing company. Let's look at personal life. Personal life. Okay, Khan is a Muslim. Kaz met Anne Carlo at college in 1967 and dated her 10 years before. Anything about, like, being a fan of Colin Kaepernick?
He must have got money from. I mean, I'm not trying to even sound racist or anything, but I'm sure it's like from family, like
endeavors or whatever.
Oil money or something out there.
It's got to be something.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you're involved with cars and
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you're an automobile guy, maybe.
So he's born to a middle class family who are involved in construction. You want to put a bold statement out there and say that Kaepernick's going to sign with the Jaguars?
This is the spot. If it's not here, it's not anywhere.
If it's not the Jaguars, then yeah, it's not anywhere. So
they're gonna wait till they get the prognosis on on Foles, where it's like, oh yeah, we need someone for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. That's like the whole season almost.
Yeah. All right. I'll go out on a limb. If you want to join in, you're more than welcome to. But I say that Kaepernick signs with Jaguars, which is a good spot too. I mean, it's not like they're like a dog shit team. Like if they've got a quarterback, I think they could be okay.
Yeah. No, and I don't think their schedule is like crazy tough either. So
no. Let's see who it was.
Which that always helps in that.
They got the Texans and the Titans and the Broncos. All right, so that'll be an interesting one. We'll keep an eye on that one. Rams, they beat the Panthers. I think we had that one. Did I say that? I think we said that would be like a field goal game, right?
I think so. Yeah, and I think we both picked the Rams for that.
It would be nice if we were actually a little more prepared and actually wrote down what the fuck we predicted last week. Eagles, like we said, beat the Redskins. Vikings, Falcons, that was the game that I had on my TV because I had Vikings, Falcons, and I also had Browns, Titans. I couldn't watch the Jets game. I tried to put on YouTube TV, and there was like copyright things, so like couldn't watch the Jets game. But Falcons, Vikings were on, and it's just super boring game. Vikings won there. This is the interesting one. Ravens just straight demolished the Dolphins 59-10. Like stupidly bad there.
I didn't think the Ravens would put up that amount of points.
I think I might have called that one.
Yeah, you did. You were high on Lamar.
I think I said like 42-10 at one point, and like it was 42-10 at one point, and then to put up a 59 spot in Miami.
Yeah, no, that's your closest bet by far. Like you pretty much nailed that one.
I mean, Lamar Jackson lit it up, 3 touchdowns, and then I told you before we got on air. There's already Dolphins players that reached out to their agents requesting trades to get out of there.
That's insane, though, because you're in Miami, man.
That's my point, too, is like, why not just go 0-16 and just, like, you have an excuse to chill every night? Like, you don't have to worry about really, like, paying attention in meetings and shit, and, like, if your coach is getting on your ass, you could just be like, dude, we're 0-8. Like, really?
That's what I'm saying. Like halfway through the season, you just gotta make it like when you're 0-8, and it's like, yo, I'm in Miami.
Yeah.
0-8.
And it's just like let's phone it in until next year. Yeah. We'll get a good draft pick. We'll get the guy Tua out of Alabama. Can we all just check it in for this season and just write this season off as one big L?
That's bad because then it must be coaching related and stuff too. If you're asking to get out of Miami, I think you gotta be crazy. Like,
yeah,
come on.
That was the headline that I saw. Was it was a picture of the head coach and it was like players are asked to get traded, but it's just like these guys are such prima donnas, man. Like you gotta just own up to shit.
Anything hard, man.
Anything hard, they want to get out of that situation.
Circumstance. Yeah. It's like, yo.
Okay, last 2 games that are pretty exciting. So. Titans, Browns. Titans really showed out, man. I give them a lot of respect. And it just goes to show that, like, you could have all the on-paper thing you want, and Vegas can be behind you. But the Browns are always going to be the Browns, man. And just because you have talent doesn't mean that you're going to just automatically win the football game. And now, like, obviously it's overreaction the next day talking about it. But, like, Baker Mayfield, this is only his 2nd season. And, like, OBJ and Jarvis, they all play offense. You still got to play defense. And they had, I wrote it down, what was it? 18 penalty flags thrown. Which just goes to show that, like, that whole team is not disciplined. And that was one of the things that, like, a lot of people said is just, like, is OBJ and Baker and Jarvis and all these guys going to, like, be disciplined? Are they going to pay attention and not, be a distraction? But, like, It seems like there's more stuff going on. When you have 18 penalty flags, that's a lot, dude.
So I'm saying, like, that's on the coaches too, because like if there's no discipline or structure in practices, and you got Jarvis and Odell doing whatever they want, like, I'm not saying that's what's happening, but like, I mean, clearly something's going on, because they didn't score many points either. Like, yeah, their defense was bad, but they didn't score.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, and it was. So they haven't won in Cleveland since, I think they said, it might have been Jeff Garcia was the quarterback or something like that, like 2005, which is just insane to me. Imagine, like, we're Jets fans. We probably haven't won since like 95 or something like that, so it's probably worse for us. But like, imagine every season from 2005 knowing you're just gonna, you every Browns fan that's been to that game, just knowing it's gonna be a big L.
You just go to the game.
You just go to the game. And I mean, like, Baker does all that pregame stuff with the drumming, and like OBJ. This is an interesting one that I wanted to ask you about. So OBJ wore a watch during the game, supposedly a $350,000 watch. Why? Like, why?
It's all good if you win. Baker with the drums.
Yeah.
It's all good if you win. You guys look like idiots, though, when, like, Baker couldn't get the Giants out of his fucking mouth all the time.
Yeah.
Like, all off season. Like, dude, worry about your team. Like, why do you care so much? And then with the interviews with, I think it was GQ or whatever, with both him and Odell, and it's like,
yeah, talk about the Daniel Jones pick, and like,
yeah, and it's like, it's none of your business, man. And it's like, and now the watch, I thought it was hilarious.
It's hilarious, but it's almost just like, that's why, like, these are reasons why, when, everybody's like, why would the Giants get rid of this guy? Or why would, Oakland release Antonio Brown? It's just like, what's the point of wearing a watch during the game? And, like, you listen to, like, like I said, I like Michael Rappaport, and it's like, it's this, like, Instagramification, like, error. It's just like, he wants to be on Bleacher Report and, all these sites. Is like, can you believe OBJ was swagged out, dripping with like a $350,000 watch during the game? It's just like, that's not going to help your performance, because one, obviously, you don't need it, and it's just like, it's just an attention getting thing. It's just like, this is about me, instead of just going out there and playing football, which a lot of these guys do. And maybe they don't make as much money or something like that, or they don't have as many followers on Instagram. But there's no reason why he could, like, there's no reason why he's wearing that watch. And if there was a reason behind it, if that was some special medical watch or something that tracked his heart rate or how fast he ran, then write in the comment section, Odell, that, why you wore that watch, and then I'll shut the hell up. But other than that, you shouldn't be wearing that watch.
I know, it's like so silly, and again, it goes back to being a social media whore, like some of these guys are, and it's like, dude, you're asking for it, because guys are gonna bury you, man. If you go 0-2 next week against the Jets, which could have, like, that's a toss up. Both of those teams are like
both suck.
Out to lunch, yeah.
It might be a tie.
Yeah, Monday Night Football, I could see that happening. But you got the spotlight on you Monday night. I'm cool with, like, the custom sneakers, like, cleats and stuff. Like, yeah, you should have. I always advocate, like, like, you should show off your personality,
100%.
your style through whatever you're wearing. You look good, feel good, play good. I
exactly.
Get that. But the watch was like.
But there's certain things. It's just like, that's obviously not helping you.
You better catch 3 touchdowns with that watch.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and I don't want to put all the shade on OBJ. I'll throw some shade to, like, Rafa Nadal too. Like, he wears a watch when he plays tennis, a big watch, and it's almost just like, I don't know why. I don't know what, you're not checking the time.
I've never understood that, but I've seen that with more than one tennis player. Like,
yeah,
like fairly frequently. So I think that is a tennis thing, man. And, like, I worked at tennis camp.
Yeah.
Every tennis player there had, like, watch on.
I just don't get it, though, because they have the timer behind them, at the U.S. Open, so they see how long the match is going. But there could be a reason why they're wearing it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he's tracking something differently that's not just the time, obviously. But, like, Tiger Woods wears a watch when he plays golf, I think. or he might put it on in his press conference or something. But like a lot of this stuff is like contractual shit, and it's just like they're endorsed by Rolex or these companies, and maybe OBJ got paid a boatload of money to wear that watch. But if it doesn't enhance your performance, and when it could potentially just hinder it, there's no use for it. And it's like he didn't need to be wearing a watch. It just draws attention away from the team.
Yo, so I'm looking at it right now. Cause I put in, why do tennis players wear?
Yeah.
And watch came up right away. So, and then it says the people also ask, why does Nadal wear a watch? So it's pretty much because, so either it's just because they're used to it, but most likely because they're being paid.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, man. So Odell was probably paid to do that. Like, yo, this will be hilarious. You'll get so much attention, and here's a free watch or whatever, And he can't help himself, man. When the guys like that, I do think it's a little weird. Like, he probably has more friends outside of football than in football that are like fashion people and stuff like that. And that's a weird world to get into.
I mean, it's just. If you want to do that, that's fine, do it. But it takes away from your authenticity, So it's like you grew up playing and like you would just play with shorts and like a tank top on. And that's why you were great, because you were so fast and you just did this shit because you were great, and people loved watching you in high school and football. And that's why people love, college and high school a little bit better than they do professional sometimes, because you just get more of that raw player, and you don't get all the antics and all the other bullshit. And a reason why people like my boy Kyle or someone as opposed to like a CNN host or something is just you're not bought by these companies, So like I could be a fan of OBJ, but then I see him wearing this watch, and then I'm like, all right, so maybe he got paid by this company. When did they talk to him? During training week? Like when he's supposed to be prepping for the game, and now he's got to talk to some watch company about, all right, yeah, I'll wear it pregame, and fuck it, I'll wear it during the game too. So like, it takes away from your performance. Whereas if you don't have any of that other bullshit, like a Kyle can just go on air and not have no filter and like talk just as freely as he wants to talk. Whereas now OBJ, if like, I don't know, he wants to wear a different watch or something like that, he can't because he's bought by this company, It takes away from some of your authenticity, and it makes me respect you a little bit less when you sell out to these companies.
It's true, because in the end, those companies, like, they're using you too.
100%. And I mean, it's easy for me to say that, if somebody called me up and said, hey, we'll give you, $200,000, and if they said, hey, you and Matt want to wear this, visor on air or something like that.
Yeah, I'll wear 7 watches.
I'll wear 7 watches if you hit me up. No, but like,
elbows.
I'd have to think about it. If it was something that I genuinely liked, maybe he does really like those watches, and I could respect that a little bit. Like Shaq selling the Buick, I lost a little respect for him because I don't think he really drove a fucking Buick. But there's certain products, if you genuinely believe in them, I'm okay with that. But if OBJ's not wearing that watch, there's time and place. Like, you shouldn't be wearing a watch in football. Make a statement. After the game when you're doing your press conference or something, to show the watch or something like that. But during the game, there's other products that you could use that aren't a watch.
Like Blake Griffin dunked over a Kia. I respect that.
I don't. I mean, he's not driving a fucking Kia. Like, dunk over a car you probably really drive.
No, he just dunked over it. It was like, yo, Kia, okay, I'll dunk over it.
Yeah.
Did it.
I was a little disappointed in that dunk contest. He didn't really show out too much. That dunk over the car was sort of whack.
No, I know, but I remember it.
I know, I remember it too. But, like, I was so hyped for that contest because I thought Blake Griffin was just going to do the most amazing shit. But it was like, didn't he, like, jump over the Kia and then, like, go through the sunroof or something like that afterwards? Like, he landed on the top and then I think he like, went through the car.
Did he? I don't remember.
Something. I was just like, that was sort of whack.
Drove away.
Yeah, I think, no, he did do something like that. But I don't know. I think if it doesn't, I mean, it didn't really hurt his on field. He still had a good game, I think.
It doesn't matter, though. It's like, just be prepared to get bashed when you guys fucking get smoked by the Titans.
Exactly. And Baker's doing a whole bunch of shit too. I've seen him in like 40 different commercials. He's doing the Who Has Live Sports.
I saw that, yeah.
So he's selling out a little bit too. It's just like these guys like are not focused on football right now. All right, last game. We say the best for last. But we said it last week. The Jets do this every opening week. You think they're going to win. You think you got high hopes. They got Le'Veon. Darnold's the dude. The Bills should suck. And they lose a game. It's not even like they just lose. When I texted you, I was like, oh, what's this? Because I saw the Jets were up 6-0 for a while. And then I hadn't watched the game because, like I said, I'm in Illinois, so they didn't have that on the TV. I texted you, I think, the third quarter. I was like, we still up? And you're like, yeah, we're good or something. It's like 17-10. And then right when you texted me that, I looked at ESPN and I saw 16-10. And I was like, hold on. It shows the Bills have the ball and we're down 16-10. So I texted you. I was like, you sure it's 17-10? Because ESPN's showing 16-10. And you go, yeah, it's 16-10. I was like, that's it, man. Like,
yeah,
that's the shit that happens with the Jets. Is something funky, like a missed extra point.
Yep.
The Bills will go down, score a touchdown, and they win because we can't kick an extra point. And that's exactly what happened. Happens every year with the Jets. Is some bullshit. It's a safety, or it's a missed extra point, or it's a missed field goal, or it's like a weird fumble. It's just who the Jets are, man.
It's crazy because, like, I can't get excited for the Jets too much. This year, I did think they would be a little different. And I know it's week 1. I get it.
I know.
Like,
that was a must-win, like we said, man.
If you're good, you don't lose this way. Have a back and forth. Lose 24-23. Have a back and forth. You know what I mean? Where you're scoring some points. You don't go up 16-0. And then we had an injury to one of our defensive guys. And they just started crushing us, like running the ball all over us. I mean, Frank Gore is like 50 years old.
Yeah, he really is.
Jesus Christ, man. I mean, like, why is he running all over us? We had the kicker. He missed the extra point early on, and then they had a field goal opportunity too, and the placeholder didn't get the ball down, so it got blocked. So, you know, he was like fumbling, trying to find the fucking laces, got blocked.
Here's my thing. Like, so I got to watch like the first 2 minutes of the game or something like that, because before it got blacked out on YouTube. And they showed the Jets kicking off because they kicked off to the Bills to start the game. And they showed the kicker, and it was like they were talking about him because he's new and like he was like a rugby player or some weird shit. Like he wasn't like a regular football player. And they were like he had never kicked in MetLife Stadium before. How are you the kicker of the Jets and you've never kicked in the stadium? Like, don't you have access to get into the stadium and at least kick some field goals? I just don't get it. And
never even kicked for practice?
Never even kicked for practice. Like, this was his first time kicking in MetLife. And I was like, it just, and that, when they said that, it made me even think, like, okay, great, now this guy's going to miss 4 field goals today and an extra point and we'll lose the game. And it's exactly what happened.
So he came out for the extra point for the first time, and they were like, he was signed 2 weeks ago. I said, oh, no, I know this game. Here we go. He shanked the hell out of it. I knew it.
Was this the same guy that, didn't they have trouble in preseason, I remember you saying, or was that a different team?
Different. Well, no. So we had a guy, and he was so bad in preseason, he retired at like 26.
Oh, so that was the guy this guy replaced that guy.
Yeah, this guy replaced that guy. So now we're on to like Carly Lloyd, probably.
That's what I was going to ask you, is almost just like, do we sign Carly Lloyd and just fucking bring the circus back like Tebow years?
For her sake, no, because like I do feel bad for kicker. Like, that's a tough job. Like, and all you don't.
I don't
get
feel
cheered,
bad for them.
All you do is get booed. Like, when you make it, they're like, "Yeah, good, you should have." Like,
I don't feel bad for him. Is Vinatieri still out there? Or did he retire?
He's with the Colts.
He's still with the Colts.
Yeah.
There's got to be someone, like, bring back Jay Feely. Is it Feely?
I feel like these guys are all still signed. I mean, if you're good,
yeah.
Your age don't matter.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
You're kicking. So I don't know, man. Like, I think we're I don't know. I don't
Sebastian
know
Janikowski, like, is he still around? He's with somebody, right? Isn't he like super fat now with the Seahawks?
Sebastian is thick.
I think he's still playing. He is thick. He's thick. Who like Pat Summerall? Wasn't he kicking field goals for like the Giants in like 1937? Like the field goals where they kicked with their toe. Can we bring him back from the dead and kick field goals?
Someone. So Janikowski.
Who's he with? Seahawks?
No, I guess he retired.
Oh, we gotta make a phone call.
Yo, he's got to be really chunky now.
I don't care. If he can make an extra point, sign the guy, man. Like, you got to be able to make an extra point. It's like
he played last year.
It's like getting signed for an office job and not knowing how to use a computer.
Yo, you know who they were talking about was the Bears kicker.
For the Jets? Is he with anybody?
No, he's like retired too. These guys, they just get destroyed, and they're like, "Yo, I'm out." It's not.
They're almost like backup quarterbacks, where it's just like there's so few of them that they just circle the wagons, you know, and they all. Parkey, I wouldn't mind because like he didn't really shank the kick; he just double doinked, you know, like it was a far kick in a cold weather, you know, stadium and like the pressure and all this stuff. So, you know, that ball takes the right bounce, and he's a hero.
It's just like, and even the field goal wasn't the kicker's fault, so he only messed up once. But it's like I have no faith in him.
No,
like,
but that's the Jets.
And I'm like, yo, no, I don't think he can do it. I don't think he's ready for this. Like,
so now the Jets play the Browns next week, Monday Night Football. Someone's got to win the game, unless it's a tie, like we said. So that'll be interesting. We called this one a must-win, and they lost, and now. The Bills play the Giants, and they could beat the Giants and go 2-0. The Patriots are looking good. Oh, man, it's going to be a long season for us because we're just going to be like a 6-10 or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our football. Anything we missed on the football realm of things?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything.
So let's just get into a couple extra things. Well, let's stay football real quick, college football, and something you brought to my attention. And I saw a picture of this, but there was a guy on Florida State who, look it up. If you just type in Florida State, it should fill in the rest for you. Lined up facing the other frickin' direction. How do you do that?
I thought it was photoshopped at first.
So did I.
I was like, nah, I didn't do that.
There's some things that are it's just amazing to see on the field. I mean, occasionally you'll see the quarterback line up behind the wrong, you know, behind the like the tackle or something.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it happens in the NBA where someone will shoot on the wrong basket, which is still very strange to see. You know, they'll just have a fast break going in the other way. But lining up while your whole team is just facing the other direction is almost just like you've got to be on some smelling salts or something like that just to not know what the hell is going on. That's a weird one.
He must be getting destroyed from that. Like his teammates, they're going to
be roasting the shit out of him.
Must be destroying him. And that's never going to end.
No, but that's something. Sadly for him, is that it's going to live on tape forever. You know, so if he's a prospect and on the fence or something like that, and he goes to interview with the Bengals, that's the first thing that's coming up on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, you're that guy.
That's embarrassing for him. I mean, I didn't watch the rest of the game. Maybe the guy had 8 touchdowns and no one's talking about it, but that photo's going to live on for a while. Something I wanted to ask you about that you know a little bit more than I do, but Nate Diaz is fighting the like that one punch guy, Masvidal.
Yeah, Masvidal.
Masvidal at Madison Square Garden for the championship. You're probably super pumped for that fight, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a good fight. So they're both 170 pounders, but they're not going for the 170 pound belt.
Huh?
They're going, yeah. So, yeah, because the what is it? It's welterweight.
Uh-huh.
So it's a welterweight belt. Someone else has the welterweight belt. So those guys were trying to get them to fight. These two other guys for the welterweight belt, and just both sides have been kind of playing games pretty much.
Yeah.
So this came about. They need something for MSG in November. They need a main event, and they put Masvidal and Nate Diaz together for the BMF belt, which is the baddest motherfucker in the game.
Oh, so it's not like a real belt?
It's not.
I don't like this.
It doesn't matter. Like, I get it. It's a little.
That's cheesy.
With the WWE, I get that. But the way they did it was pretty cool because it's like Nate Diaz got on the mic after he won a couple weeks ago and was like, I want to face Masvidal. All these other dudes, like, they run their mouths for social media. They're fake. He's a real one. I'm a real one. Put two bad motherfuckers, lock us in that cage, and let's go. And so,
I don't know. I'm not gonna buy into this one. I think that this is gonna be a corporate fight, and they're gonna set it up so they have to have a rematch or something like that. Like, I don't think we're gonna get the rawest of raw for this first fight.
Oh, dude, this is gonna be a bloodbath.
Because you don't think that they're calculated too behind the scenes, trying to like already work on what's gonna be next after this first fight.
No, I mean, see, you are all about that.
I'm the conspiracy king, man.
Yeah, I don't think you could set up a fight. Like, I don't think you can fix a fight. I see how someone could fix a boxing fight possibly. Like, I get that a little bit because kind of make it work. But
you don't want to let your guard down in a UFC where you can get choked out or something.
It's like, yo, what are you gonna do? Fake a punch, fake a kick? Like,
that's a good point. Yeah, I guess so.
It's tough. So it's I'm excited for this fight. This is gonna be this could be fight of the year. This could be fight of the year.
So
it's gonna be 5 rounds, which is huge.
Who has the belt?
So it's Colby Covington has the welterweight belt.
And he just doesn't want to fight either of them?
He's playing these games where he has the interim belt. There's too many. It's getting like boxing a little bit where there's a lot of belts right now.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Kamaru Usman has the real welterweight belt.
Mm-hmm.
Colby Covington has the interim. They want them to go together to merge that one belt.
Yeah.
And they're just like, whether it's a money issue or not with numbers or whatever.
Doesn't UFC dictate the fights though? Isn't that the whole thing about UFC? Is they are the ones who decide the fights?
They do, but it's very much like we talked about with these NFL guys and stuff. People are starting to realize, like, and they got a gripe more than most people because they don't get paid as much as anyone thinks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you'll see an awesome ass fight. You'll see how much he made. It's like, oh, he made $80,000 to do that. That ain't worth it.
Yeah. And maybe they get a little bit more if they win or something like that. Or like I think a while ago I heard like if Dana White was like amused and like enjoyed it, he'll give them some more bonus money or something like that. Which is just like you're banking on him liking your fight to get more money, you know?
Yeah, so he gives like $50,000 fight of the night and performance.
That's crazy. That's so crazy.
So that could be added onto your salary, but again, like
that's nothing to get fucking demolished.
It's like motivation for them to just go in there and start swinging, you know.
I guess so, but it's still peanuts to what they're making on the whole, you know, the whole night. The UFC, they're making millions and millions and millions.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's nothing to give a few. Like, they'll give out 3 or 4 performance of the night.
Yeah, that's nothing. Because
if you're like a wrestler and it's kind of dragging out or whatever, they're not going to give it to you. But if you're standing in there, like right in the middle of the cage, just swinging, you know, that's how that goes.
Yeah.
But this will be good. This will be like, this is must watch. This is too, like we said, Masvidal was back in the Kimbo Slice backyard.
Yeah.
Brawl days. Nate Diaz is
a brawler.
Same cloth.
Yeah.
And they're gonna stand toe to toe in the middle for 5 rounds, which makes it amazing.
And just go at it. Yeah.
They both have a chin. They don't get knocked out. So you're just gonna see them just killing each other.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like that shit. It's gonna be the most
violent fight ever, I think.
I don't like watching that shit. I mean, maybe I'll watch some highlights or something. But the other guy just sort of came on the scene, right? Or was he sort of a big deal before that one punch knockout thing?
Masvidal was, you know, he's become popular in the mainstream recently, which I'm so happy for because he's been fighting for like 15 years, man.
Oh, wow.
Like, yo, he's like 35.
Jeez.
So he's been, like, I remember YouTubing him. I didn't even know who he was, but, like, watching him and him fight Kimbo's boy in his backyard when he was, like, 19.
That's crazy.
And, like, just swinging.
I can't imagine that. I never even got into a freaking fight before.
He's finally getting paid his due. Like,
yeah.
He said something. He's like, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire now. And it's like, that shit makes me happy for him.
Yeah, good for that guy.
You know, fighting for peanuts, that's not cool.
Yeah, no, totally agree. I need my guy Aljamain Sterling to get on that card. That's my guy.
Aljamain's got a chance.
Long Island cat.
You know what? Aljamain, I wouldn't be surprised if he is on that card, because he should be.
He needs to fight for a belt soon, because he's been doing his thing.
In Long Island, yeah. He's going to get a belt opportunity soon.
Yeah.
He's put on a show lately.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, and he's got a good following, and people like him, and he's, like, you know, good-looking guy, and, like, wears the chain, and he's got the whole, like, thing going for him.
Yeah, it's just like a pecking order right now.
Yeah.
He's behind a few guys that have the name right now.
Yep.
So he'll get there.
Okay, well, that's sports. If anything else you want to add on there, I think Patriots are still doing their thing. Some more football next week. If anything else happens, USA basketball, they beat the Greek Freak. I think they're still just competing. I don't know. I don't know where they are in the FIBA games.
I didn't know that was still going.
Yeah, they're still going on. They almost lost to Turkey, but they beat them. They got bailed out by a 3 call at the end. What else is happening? Baseball's winding down, so playoffs are, figuring out what the playoff seeds are going to be. But there'll probably be some more stuff that happens this week.
It's only going to get better.
Only going to get better. Patriots up 30-3. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's only going to get better for them too.
And I think this will be good. Like, we're kind of going with the hot viral story. So hopefully Odell keeps doing wacky shit. Hopefully AB is just off the chains, especially for the Patriots. Shout out AB, honestly, because
it's gonna be John Gruden on losing both. John Gruden on losing both Antonio Brown and Khalil Mack. At least I got to meet Antonio. I never got to meet Khalil. I love Gruden. He seems like a good dude. Zion, did you see him dunking in New York City with all the Jordan people around him?
Yeah, promoting his shoe, right?
Did he drop a new shoe? Did they show it?
I didn't see the shoe though.
Oh, WNBA highlight. One of the girls just tapped the referee and she got ejected. So that was a highlight for the whole week.
The whole season.
The whole season. She sort of just put her hand backwards on the referee, a little bit like this, and he spazzed out and threw her out of the game. And I saw some people commenting underneath it there should just be no contact with the referee. But, the guy seemed like he was a little soft with that one. But then again, it's the WNBA, and they need all the highlights they can get. Other than that, that's it for Sports Buffet number 6. Thanks for watching. Still, ask away with questions. Did you see any questions? Yeah. I saw one question. Is Matt single?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I was going to say, there wasn't any questions on there.
No questions. Shout out to Need More Zen. She shared it on Facebook, so thanks for that. But yeah, if you have any questions, ask us. Now that football season's in full swing, if you want to ask away about anything, let us know. We'll talk about it. Baseball's winding down. Yeah, feel free to ask it. We're here. Ask me what hat I'm going to wear next week. I don't know yet.
Let us know what you like, don't like.
Yeah.
Hate, love, something. Give us something.
Give us something. We need to know something. All right, Matt, thank you. Sports Buffet number 6. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.